well. Jane Curth is our guest today. Recovery and rest. We're talking about Jane's recent injury that she's suffered and is still going through this. Jane, you left off in the previous segment. We're talking about you had a little bit of osteopenia. You're getting a second opinion. Kind of left off there. You love your physical therapist. See, these are all different little areas we could go if we wanted to, but we got to try to compact this story together. So where are you at now with how are you? Let me ask you this. How are you doing mentally? How are you feeling mentally?
That has been a challenge, Tom. And I do, years ago, went to a really good counselor and have started back going to her. And she has helped me along this journey because my life changed so drastically from being so active to being totally inactive. And that was
6 months.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, and it's been a journey, and it's been difficult to decide when do I advocate for myself with physicians. That's been another area of concern for me.
I mean, if you would please explain what advocating for yourself with a physician means to listeners that might go, what it's
Right.
but we need to, this is a really excellent point. I'm glad you brought that.
Well,
how do you become an advocate for yourself?
it's challenging, and I think sometimes it's hardest for the patient. So if you have a friend or a family member with you, they're probably better able to, and I'll give you an example. When I reached out for a second opinion, the PA at the orthopedist office had said, you know, the bone has stalled. We want you to get this bone stimulator. We're going to back you up. They had me up to like 70 degrees of range of motion on that brace. He said, we're taking you back to 30 and cut back on everything you're doing. And he had talked to the orthopedist as she was between patients on a very busy day. She never saw me. She never really, I don't think, looked at my chart that day. And so when Chris and I got out of there, he said, I wish I had insisted that she see you, because I was kind of shell-shocked. I'm like, but I was doing so well. And I was kind of, you know, like, what did he just say? I was
Right.
kind of, you know, in denial about it.
Sure.
So that's when we sought the second opinion. That doctor said he thought it was disuse osteopenia. So that I wasn't doing enough. That he said, and there's a fine line between doing too much, but my PT was following the orders from my original doctor.
Okay.
Fast forward to early December, they do an MRI. I do have an MCL sprain that happened at the same time that I fell. So you would treat it the way they treated the fracture. But they said, we want you back in a brace. It won't be as big, but we want you back in a brace, and we want you to cut back on what you're doing. And Chris was with me, and he did speak up then, because I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. And Chris said, you know, I appreciate y'all telling us this. I do want to get another second opinion. So we did get that second opinion. That doctor told me, lose the brace, get on a stationary bike, do leg press, and I want you moving. And it has been, I've been so much better since then. So much better.
All right, let's pause here and just kind of take a breath. Okay, let me reset this thing, everybody. Jane, because I'm kind of ticked off about this whole thing, because my friend's hurt and they're going through this, and it's like, and I'm not going to be critical about healthcare and all of this, but still, come on. And it's so Jane Curth is our guest. We're talking recovery and rest. You know, Jane is the CEO of FitFixNow. She teaches fall prevention.
Yes.
I think I took the course when I got recerted as in my CPT. I'm almost positive I did. So it's like, you know this stuff. And
Yes.
now let me give you, I got some stats here. And this is just for Phil to just take a little break. 34,000 falls among adults 65 and older caused over 34,000 deaths in 2019, making it the leading cause of injury death for that group. What happens is, and what I've heard and what I've read, Jane, correct me if I'm wrong here, but people, they break something and fall. They don't fall and break something. You fell.
Yes.
You you were busy. You're going
Yes.
go to New York. You stepped off a curb and slammo, you
Mhm.
face planted, and you're so lucky you didn't hurt your head.
I know.
Oh my God, this could have been so awful. All right. So you've got to the second opinion. Thank goodness you're back into some physical therapy. Now what was this, like November, December? Is this, can you give us a little kind of a timeline of where we're at here so that people
Yeah.
understand this happened? This occurred May 24th, everybody. Okay. So the injury,
Yeah.
so just to put some context to this whole thing. Okay. So please continue, Jane, go ahead.
Yeah. So it was about mid-December when we got the second opinion, and he said, loose the brace,
It was
ramp
that
up.
long.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He
Wow.
he really wanted me to up what I was doing. He said, ride the stationary bike. And he said,
No
because you have
No impact.
Yeah. Yeah. And he said, because you have osteopenia, when you do leg press, do heavier, go on the heavier and do less reps.
Uh-huh.
Now, you don't want knee pain when you do it. You want it as heavy as you can do it without having knee pain.
Okay.
So it feels
What is that
good.
from your perspective as a professor, kinesiology and
Yeah.
what's your feeling for men and women doing leg work and leg presses and squats and that type of, what's your feeling on it? You got a minute and a half to go before we go to break here. You'll hear
Yeah.
them. You think about it.
I've never liked machines.
Uh-huh.
I've never liked them. I like free weights. I like body weight resistance. I've never liked machines. I like to do squats if they're done correctly. And, I've never had knee problems, but when I do squats, I've always put a yoga block between them to keep my knees from going in or out.
Uh-huh.
So, there's value to all of it, but I'm relearning how to appreciate machines.
Okay. Jane Curth is with us, everybody. We're going to go to break. We're going to hear the music here in just a second. Recovery and rest. Recovery and rest. Talking about Jane's recent injury. These things happen all the time, everybody. That's why you need to pay attention. We'll be right back. Yep. Like I said, this is going to be more than just a lot more.